When we say certain AI tools feel illegal, we are not talking about regulatory gray areas or breaking platform rules. We are talking about an asymmetric capability gap. It is the jarring realization that the operational leverage you gain over peers still doing the work manually is massive. Using a large language model to write a polite email or summarize an article is a superficial novelty. It provides zero lasting advantage. True value emerges only when you use these systems to entirely replace legacy workflows. The defining metric here is operational leverage, the ability to permanently decouple the time you spend from the professional output you generate. This chart illustrates the divide. Traditional workflows require teams executing linear labor. AI creates an exponential curve, scaling output independently of headcount. A single user executes thousands of hours of analysis at a fraction of the cost, breaking the math of traditional business operations. We are deconstructing 10 specific tools that enable this leverage, categorized into automation, research and analysis, and hidden gems. Mastering these categories is the dividing line between individuals who labor inside a business and those who engineer systems to run it. The automation tier focuses entirely on the elimination of high-friction, repetitive digital chores. Tool number 1 is AI browser automation. By feeding the system a natural language instruction, it autonomously navigates websites, clicks through menus, and inputs data without human intervention. This replaces the grueling hours of manual cross-tab research, web scraping, and copy-pasting previously required to build competitive analysis databases. The learning curve exists entirely in the setup phase. It requires precise prompt calibration to map the initial workflow. Once the instructions are locked in, the system executes daily with near-zero maintenance. Tool number 2 is Deep Context Meeting Assistance. This diagram shows how it differs from basic transcription. Instead of just recording audio, it scans the raw text and actively extracts only the variables that matter: distinct decisions, stated risks, and assigned action items. This specific extraction capability entirely replaces a project manager's legacy task of post-meeting synthesis and follow-up emails. The deliverables are structured and distributed the moment the call ends. Automation tier tools eliminate the human error and attention fatigue inherent in repetitive data extraction, ensuring high-volume tasks remain accurate over long durations. Tier 2 shifts the focus from physical clicking to cognitive processing, specifically synthesizing massive pools of data. Tool number 3 is Deep Research Synthesis. Instead of relying on a static database, this tool queries dozens of live sources and active web pages simultaneously based on your research parameter. It reads the incoming data, cross-references the facts, and automatically builds a defensible architecture within its reports, mapping every claim back to a specific, clickable citation. The system performs the heavy lifting of verification, cross-referencing conflicting reports and reconciling dates across sources, compressing a multi-day manual vetting process into the initial generation phase. Tool number 4 takes that synthesized data and applies automated visualization. This visual demonstrates how the tool identifies the patterns in messy CSV files. Without any user input, it automatically determines the mathematical relationship between the variables and generates the correct chart type to display it. The prerequisite here is data hygiene. The AI eliminates the need for advanced statistical software, but it still requires clean, logical column headers to parse the information correctly. Tool number 5 is competitive intelligence monitoring. This establishes a continuous background track on competitor websites, pricing pages, and API updates, logging every micro-adjustment made by rival companies. While legacy marketing teams rely on inconsistent manual periodic checks, this tool maintains a persistent log of every backend update and code change as they occur. Out of the box, the signal-to-noise ratio is incredibly high. You must actively tune the tool's filters to ignore useless PR announcements and surface only structural changes to pricing or product lines. Stacking these 3 tools allows a solo founder to execute a volume of research and market analysis normally reserved for an enterprise department. The final barrier in data analysis is not volume, it is format. Messy, unstructured, and dense real-world documents break traditional software. Tool number 6 solves this through long document analysis. It can ingest a 60-page medical PDF or dense legal contract and isolate specific liability clauses or data points instantly. For non-specialists, finding a single metric inside a dense report used to require grueling hours of brute force reading. That friction is now zero. Tool number 7 is unstructured data extraction. This funnel concept demonstrates its utility. You feed it inconsistent sources, handwritten notes, varying invoice templates, or screen grabs, and uniformly structured JSON or CSV data exits the bottom. Businesses previously spent tens of thousands of dollars hiring offshore virtual assistants for manual data entry. Routing unstructured files through this tool delivers immediate, measurable return on investment. Processing unstructured data removes the final friction point between physical world messiness and seamless digital execution. Tier 3 focuses on tools that translate abstract ideas directly into proprietary execution. Tool number 8 is voice cloning at scale. Provide a short sample and it replicates your specific vocal cadence to generate entirely new speech in multiple languages. This enables scaled, localized content creation, entirely bypassing the massive scheduling bottlenecks of studio recording sessions and post-production dubbing. Tool number 9 is text-to-interactive prototype. As these geometric lines assemble, they represent the tool's ability to generate functional mockups strictly from natural language descriptions. You no longer need to hire a UI designer or a front-end developer just to validate a concept. You write the logic, and the tool builds the functional test environment. Tool number 10 is Personal Knowledge Management AI. It functions as a private, localized search engine connected exclusively to your own files and notes. Here, scattered file icons connect to a single search query. This eliminates the legacy problem of folder digging and prevents the costly loss of institutional memory when an employee leaves the company. You ask a question, and it synthesizes the answer directly from your own archives. The learning curve here is steep. The tool is entirely useless without a systemic, disciplined commitment to centralizing your data archives in the first place. Tier 3 tools democratize execution, granting single individuals the creative and technical capabilities that previously demanded specialized talent. Despite these capabilities, the failure rate for adoption is high. Most try these tools once, feel underwhelmed by a mediocre first output, and abandon them. Treating infrastructure as a novelty yields zero compounding interest. The capability gap only opens through deliberate systematization. This schematic demonstrates the actionable solution, the deliberate integration framework. Steps 1 and 2. Audit your workflow to identify the single most expensive bottleneck. Steps 3 and 4. Select one specific tool targeting that bottleneck, forcing its use for 2 straight weeks. True operational leverage activates only when a legacy habit is completely starved out and entirely replaced by the automated system. Once a single tool is properly integrated and the friction is removed from your daily operation, you will understand exactly why that resulting leverage feels like an unfair advantage.